Born into slavery in 1857 in Virginia, she entered a world that offered her almost nothing. No wealth. No protection. No rights. Only hardship. But from that beginning, she would grow into something extraordinary. This is the story of Henrietta Jeffries, a woman who delivered hundreds of lives into the world, and whose own life became a powerful testimony of resilience, dignity, and service. A childhood in chains. Henrietta was born in the final years of American slavery. Her early childhood was shaped by forced labor, racial injustice, and uncertainty. When the Civil War ended and slavery was abolished, freedom came. But freedom did not mean equality. Like many formerly enslaved families, she grew up with few resources and even fewer opportunities. Yet even in hardship, character is formed. And Henrietta's strength was already growing. Loss at a young age. At just 15 years old, she married George Lawson and moved to Milton, North Carolina. Life in the rural South during the late 1800s was unforgiving, especially for a young black woman born into slavery. Then tragedy struck. Only a few years after their marriage, George died. Henrietta was widowed while still very young. Alone. Grieving. Facing a future filled with uncertainty. Many would have broken under the weight of that loss. She did not. She stayed in Milton. She rebuilt. She endured. A new chapter. In 1881, she married again, this time to James Jeffries, a tobacco farmer in Caswell County. The tobacco economy shaped daily life in rural North Carolina. Farming families depended heavily on each other for survival. It was here, within this tight-knit community, that Henrietta discovered her true calling. She became a midwife. A calling greater than a career. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, hospitals were rare in rural America. Doctors were scarce. And for black families especially, medical access was deeply limited. Midwives were essential. They were healers, caregivers, counselors, guardians of life. Henrietta Jeffries became known for her calm presence, steady hands, and unwavering dedication. Word spread. Families, black and white, began calling for her when labor began. Think about that. In the segregated South. During a time of deep racial division. Both black and white families trusted her. That kind of trust was not easily earned. It was built through years of compassion and excellence. The long nights. Being a midwife was not easy. There were no paved roads. No emergency vehicles. No electric lights in many homes. When a mother went into labor, Henrietta might travel by foot or wagon in the middle of the night, through rough country roads in any weather. Her work required strength, knowledge, courage, and emotional resilience. She delivered hundreds of babies, each birth a fragile moment between life and death. And in those moments, she was the steady presence families relied on. The trial that could have ended everything. In 1911, at 54 years old, Henrietta's life took an unexpected turn. She was arrested. The charge? Practicing medicine without a license. At the time, new medical regulations were being enforced more strictly. Many traditional midwives, especially black women, found themselves targeted. This wasn't just a legal issue. It threatened her reputation, her livelihood, her legacy. But Henrietta did not crumble. She stood in court with dignity. She did not claim to be a physician. She simply told the truth. She was a woman who had faithfully served her community for decades. The case was presided over by Judge Charles Cook. And what happened next was remarkable. The judge acknowledged something powerful. He himself, along with his 11 siblings, had been delivered by a midwife. Before modern hospitals, midwives were essential to nearly every family. Recognizing her lifelong service, he dismissed the charges. And then he spoke words that would echo through history. He told her that she had given a wonderful service, greater than she might ever realize, and that when she was gone, people would say, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." It was more than a verdict. It was public honor. A quiet return. After the trial, Henrietta did not seek fame. She returned quietly to her work. She continued delivering babies for many more years. No headlines. No celebrations. Just faithful service. In August 1926, at 69 years old, she passed away. By then, she had helped bring hundreds of children into the world. Imagine that legacy. Generations of families who could say, "She was there when I was born." A legacy that lives on. Henrietta Jeffries never held political office. She never wrote a book. She never sought recognition. But her impact was profound. Born into slavery. Widowed young. Challenged by the legal system. Yet she built a life defined by skill, trust, compassion, and courage. In a divided society, she served both black and white families equally. Her hands bridged racial barriers. Her presence brought comfort in life's most vulnerable moments. Her story reminds us. Greatness is not always loud. Heroism is not always famous. Legacy is not always written in monuments. Sometimes, it is written in the lives we help bring into the world. If this story moved you, share it. Because the world deserves to remember women like Henrietta Jeffries. A woman born in chains. Who spent her life delivering freedom into the arms of others. And that is a legacy that never dies.